beloved, today I want to speak to you about a truth that has changed the lives of countless believers throughout history. A truth that challenges our understanding of timing, tests our patience, and strengthens our faith. The truth is this: God delays, but He never denies. Now, I know some of you are sitting here today feeling frustrated. You have prayed, you have believed, you have fasted, you have cried out in the midnight hour, yet your answer has not come. You are wondering, has God forgotten me? Does He even care about my needs? I am here to tell you, God has not forgotten you. God has not forsaken you. He is simply preparing something greater than you can imagine. And His timing is perfect. Many times in life we look at our circumstances and think that nothing is happening. We measure God's faithfulness by what we see, by what we feel, by the doors that have yet to open. But the reality is that God works in a way that surpasses our understanding. The delay is not a denial, it is a divine preparation. It is God's way of ensuring that when your blessing comes, it comes fully, completely, and in the right season. You see, there is a purpose behind every delay. There is a reason why the answer is not immediate. There is a divine strategy at work even when we cannot see it. Consider Joseph in the Bible. A young man betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. For many years he was forgotten by those who should have remembered him. He waited, and the world around him questioned whether God was listening. Yet Joseph did not give up. He did not despair. He trusted God even when the situation seemed hopeless. And when the time came, Joseph was lifted from the prison and elevated to a position of power where he could save nations from famine. His delay was not a denial. It was God's perfect timing for a greater purpose. What if Joseph had received his promotion immediately without the trials? He would not have been prepared for the responsibility. He would not have been ready to carry the vision God had for his life. Beloved, sometimes God delays to prepare you for the next season of your life. Now, I know it is hard to wait. Waiting is never easy. When you are in the waiting room, when you are standing at the edge of your breakthrough, doubt can creep in. Fear can whisper in your ear. Frustration can weigh heavily on your heart. But let me remind you today that waiting is not wasted time. Every day, every trial, every tear, and every struggle is shaping you, strengthening you, and aligning you with the destiny that God has planned. The Bible says in Isaiah 4:31, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." The promise is not that life will be easy, but that God will renew your strength during the wait. The delay is an invitation to deepen your trust in Him, to build a faith that is unshakable, to learn patience and perseverance that will carry you through every storm. Think about the story of Abraham and Sarah. They were promised a child, yet years passed, and the promise seemed distant. The waiting must have been agonizing. How many times did they doubt? How many times did they question God? Yet God was faithful. In His perfect timing, Sarah gave birth to Isaac, the child of promise, the child through whom nations would be blessed. God's timing was perfect, and His promise was fulfilled. The delay was not denial. It was a divine design. Sometimes God delays because He wants to teach us to rely not on the timing of men, but on the timing of heaven. Many of you have dreams, visions, and prayers that seem stalled. You have prayed for restoration, for healing, for provision, and for favor, yet the doors remain closed. I want you to hear me clearly today. God is not rejecting your prayer. He is not turning His back on you. He is working behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances, moving people, and aligning resources in a way that only He can. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but God is at work. The delay is often a period of preparation for a blessing that is greater than you could imagine. Don't despise the waiting. Don't grow weary in prayer, and don't lose faith. The same God who brought Joseph out of prison, who gave Abraham and Sarah their promised child, who parted the Red Sea for Moses and the Israelites, is the same God working for you today. It is important to understand that God's delay is not random. It is intentional. Sometimes He delays because He is protecting you. He knows that if your blessing came too soon, you might not be ready to handle it. You might lack the wisdom, the character, or the faith required to steward what He wants to give you. Just as a parent disciplines a child, God's timing is a form of divine preparation. When He delays, it is an opportunity for you to grow, to mature, to learn to trust Him more deeply. He is shaping your heart, refining your character, and preparing you for a purpose that is eternal. Another reason God delays is to increase your faith. Faith is not strengthened when everything comes easily. Faith is forged in the fire of waiting, in the crucible of uncertainty, and in the midst of trials. Every time you choose to trust God despite the delay, your faith grows. Every time you refuse to give up, every time you keep praying, every time you hold on to hope, you are building a faith that can move mountains. Jesus said in Matthew 17:20, "If ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you." Beloved, the delay is a divine tool to increase your faith and prepare you for the miraculous. Let me remind you of Hannah. She prayed for a child, and for years her womb was closed. She poured out her heart before the Lord, and yet it seemed that nothing was happening. People mocked her, and the pain of waiting was real. But Hannah did not quit. She continued to pray. She continued to believe, and when the time came, God answered her prayer. She bore Samuel, who would become one of the greatest prophets of Israel. The delay was not denial. It was God's perfect plan unfolding. What if Hannah had stopped praying? What if she had lost hope? She would have missed the fulfillment of God's promise. And today, I am here to tell you the same God who answered Hannah's prayer will answer yours. He delays, but he never denies. Sometimes God delays because he wants to teach you to rely on him alone. In our impatience, we often try to take matters into our own hands. We try to force outcomes, make arrangements, or find shortcuts. But God's delay is a way of teaching us to depend on him fully, to trust him completely, and to seek him with all our heart. It is in the waiting that we learn to cry out to God, to pour out our hearts, and to experience his presence in a deeper way. The delay is an opportunity to cultivate intimacy with the Lord, to develop a life of prayer, and to grow in spiritual maturity. I know some of you are facing financial difficulties, health challenges, broken relationships, and unfulfilled dreams. You are waiting for miracles, breakthroughs, and answers, and the waiting is difficult. But let me encourage you, God is faithful. He is not slow according to his word. He is slow according to our human perspective, but his timing is perfect. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven." There is a time for planting, a time for watering, and a time for harvesting. The delay is part of God's divine schedule. When the time comes, your harvest will be abundant, your joy will be full, and your blessing will be evident. Beloved, never underestimate the power of persistence in prayer. Continue to pray, continue to believe, continue to hope. The answer may not come today, it may not come tomorrow, but it will come. God's delay is not denial. It is not rejection. It is preparation. It is perfection. It is perfection. When the answer comes, it will exceed your expectations. When the blessing arrives, it will be greater than you imagine. The delay is a necessary part of God's process for your life. Look at the story of David. He was anointed as king, yet he did not sit on the throne immediately. He faced years of waiting, a persecution and trials. He fled from Saul, lived in caves, and endured hardship, yet he did not lose faith. He continued to trust God. He continued to fight the good fight, and in due time, he became the king of Israel. The delay was not a denial. It was a period of preparation for a greater destiny. Sometimes, your season of waiting is a sign that God is preparing you for something greater than you can imagine. Even Jesus himself experienced waiting. He waited for the appointed time to begin his ministry, for the right moment to reveal his power, and for the perfect season to accomplish his purpose. Everything was done in God's timing. He was never rushed, never delayed unnecessarily, and never denied. The same principle applies to your life today. Trust the timing of God. Wait patiently, expectantly, and confidently. Your breakthrough is coming. Your miracle is on the way. Your blessing is at the door. The key is to remain steadfast in faith. Do not allow doubt, fear, or frustration to take root in your heart. Instead, use this waiting period to draw closer to God, to strengthen your relationship with him, and to grow in spiritual maturity. Serve him faithfully, love him sincerely, and trust him completely. God is working behind the scenes. He is orchestrating events, aligning resources, and positioning people to fulfill his promises to you. The delay is a divine strategy for your benefit. Remember, God is never late. His timing is perfect. What may seem like a delay to you is actually a demonstration of his wisdom, power, and love. He sees the end from the beginning. He knows what is best for you. He knows the right moment to act. Trust Him. Believe in His promises. Wait patiently and confidently, knowing that God delays, but He never denies. No matter how long the wait, no matter how difficult the circumstances, keep your faith alive. Continue to pray, continue to worship, continue to trust. God is faithful to finish what He started in your life. He is faithful to fulfill every promise He has made. The delay is temporary, but the fulfillment of God's plan is eternal. Keep your eyes on Him, keep your heart surrendered to Him, and your breakthrough will come in His perfect time. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, today I want to encourage you, if you are waiting for an answer, if you are standing in the gap for a miracle, if you are longing for breakthrough, do not give up. God's delay is not denial. It is a divine setup for your blessing. Trust Him, wait upon Him, and keep believing. The same God who parted the Red Sea, who healed the sick, who raised the dead, who fed thousands with a few loaves and fishes, is working on your behalf. His promises are true, His love is faithful, and His timing is perfect. Keep your faith strong and know this God delays, but He never denies. I want you to consider the widow in the Bible who came to the judge for justice. For many days her cries were ignored. The judge seemed indifferent. The process seemed slow, and yet she did not stop pleading. She continued to knock, she continued to seek, she continued to hope. And finally, because of her persistence, the judge acted in her favor. Beloved, if persistence worked with an unjust human judge, how much more will your persistent prayers work with a loving, omniscient God? God is not slow. God is not indifferent. He sees every tear. He hears every cry, and He knows every need. The delay is not denial. It is the perfect opportunity for your faith to grow, for your spirit to mature, and for God's glory to be revealed in your life. Think about the Israelites wandering in the wilderness. 40 years of wandering, testing, and waiting before they entered the promised land. For 40 years they saw the promise but did not yet possess it. Some became impatient, some lost hope, some even rebelled. Yet God was faithful. Every day He provided manna from heaven, water from the rock, guidance by the cloud, and protection from their enemies. The delay was intentional. God was shaping a generation, teaching them obedience, building character, and preparing them to inherit the promises. Your waiting period may feel long, but every day is an opportunity for God to prepare you, for Him to mold you into the person capable of handling the blessings He has prepared for you. There are times when God delays because He is perfecting your heart. Your character is being refined, your perspective is being elevated, and your faith is being strengthened. Do you remember the story of Peter? He walked with Jesus, saw miracles, and even professed unwavering faith. Yet, when tested, he denied knowing the Lord 3 times. If Peter had been placed into leadership prematurely, without refinement, the responsibility could have overwhelmed him. But through trials, failures, and restoration, Peter became a rock upon which the church was built. Beloved, delays are often God's way of perfecting us, strengthening our inner man, and preparing us for divine responsibility. The delay is part of the preparation for a greater destiny. Sometimes God delays because He is orchestrating circumstances that you cannot see. He is arranging people, opening doors, and closing others for your benefit. There is a divine appointment waiting for you, a blessing that will come at exactly the right moment. Abraham waited until he was 100 years old for the fulfillment of God's promise. Sarah waited, barren for decades, until God acted. Imagine if the timing had been different. The blessing would have come too early, unprepared, incomplete. God's delays are precise. His timing is perfect. He is never early, never late, but always on time. He is working all things together for your good, even when you cannot see the pattern. Many of us are tempted to take matters into our own hands during periods of delay. We try to force things. We try to manipulate situations. We try to find shortcuts. But God's delay is also a test of obedience. He wants to see if we will trust Him, wait upon Him, and submit to His timing. The Bible says in Proverbs 3:5-6, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths." Trust is not measured by how you feel when things are easy. Trust is measured by how you respond when God's timing seems slow. Will you remain faithful, even when the delay tests your patience? Will you remain hopeful, even when your vision is not yet realized? Will you continue to praise, even when your answer seems distant? This is the season in which your trust will be strengthened. Consider the story of Job, a man blameless and upright, yet he endured unimaginable trials, losses, and delays. He lost his family, his wealth, and his health. Yet he did not curse God. He did not lose faith. He maintained hope, even when the circumstances seemed impossible. And in the end, God restored everything he had lost and more. Job's delay was not denial. It was divine preparation, purification, and ultimate blessing. Beloved, your delays may feel painful, but they are temporary. They are refining, strengthening, and preparing you for something far greater than you can imagine. God also delays to protect you from what is not yet right for you. Sometimes we ask for things that may not align with God's perfect plan. Sometimes we want blessings, relationships, or opportunities that, if granted prematurely, would cause harm. God's wisdom is infinite, and He sees beyond the present moment. He knows what is best for you. His delays are acts of divine protection. Just because something has not arrived does not mean it will never come. It simply means the timing is not right. Trust that He knows better than you do. His understanding is beyond measure, and His plan is flawless. I want to speak to those who are waiting for healing. Perhaps you have prayed, you have sought the doctor, and yet the results are not what you expected. You may feel despair creeping in, but do not give up. God is not finished with your life. He is still at work. Every moment of waiting is a moment in which your faith can be strengthened, your hope can be renewed, and your character can be refined. God's delay is intentional. He is preparing you for the miracle in a way that will maximize the glory and impact of His power. The healing, the breakthrough, and the miracle are coming. Trust Him to deliver in the perfect time. Sometimes God delays to teach us contentment and gratitude. We desire immediate results, instant answers, and quick fixes, but God wants to cultivate a heart of gratitude. Even in the waiting, He is providing for your needs, sustaining you, and teaching you to rely on Him fully. The delay is an invitation to recognize God's faithfulness in every small blessing, every answered prayer, and every daily provision. Gratitude strengthens faith. Gratitude aligns our hearts with God's purposes. Gratitude transforms waiting into worship. As you wait, practice gratitude and watch how God multiplies the blessings in your life. I also want you to consider the story of the prodigal son. He left the father's house, squandered his inheritance, and faced the consequences of his actions. Yet the father waited patiently, never denying his love, never withholding his forgiveness. When the son returned, the father embraced him, celebrated his return, and restored him fully. Sometimes God's delays are a reflection of His patience, His love, and His desire to see us fully prepared to receive what He has for us. The delay is not denial. It is divine love in action, working toward our ultimate good. There are seasons in life when the waiting feels unbearable. You may be longing for marriage, for career advancement, for financial breakthrough, or for restoration of relationships. The delay is not a punishment. It is a period of divine cultivation. During this season, you are being shaped, equipped, and refined. God is working all things together for your benefit. Romans 8:28 reminds us, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to His purpose. Even the delays, the obstacles, and the challenges are part of God's plan. Trust Him, hold fast to your faith, and wait expectantly. Consider the disciples after the resurrection of Jesus. They waited for the promise of the Holy Spirit. They did not understand the timing. They did not know when it would come. Yet they waited faithfully. And when the day of Pentecost arrived, they were filled with power, boldness, and authority to change the world. Their waiting was not in vain. Their delay was part of God's perfect timing to ensure the fullness of the promise. Similarly, your waiting period is not empty. It is filled with purpose, preparation, and potential for the fulfillment of God's promises. Beloved, understand this. Every delay is an opportunity to deepen your faith, to grow spiritually, and to strengthen your relationship with God. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every period of waiting is a divine invitation to trust Him more. The delay is not a denial. It is a divine act of love, wisdom, and preparation. God's timing is flawless. His promises are true, and His faithfulness endures forever. Do not allow frustration, doubt, or impatience to steal your peace. Remain steadfast, keep believing, and watch as God moves in ways that exceed your imagination. Sometimes God delays to give you a testimony that will inspire others. Your story of perseverance, faith, and trust in God during the waiting period can become a beacon of hope for those who are struggling. The delay may feel lonely, but it is never meaningless. And your journey through the waiting room is preparing you to encourage others to teach others and to testify of God's faithfulness. Your testimony will be a powerful reminder that God delays, but he never denies. Even in the smallest details of life, God's timing is perfect. The timing of a job offer, the birth of a child, the healing of a loved one, the reconciliation of a relationship, all are under his sovereign control. Trust him in the big things and the small things. His delay is not denial. It is his way of orchestrating the best possible outcome for your life. Be patient, be faithful, and be expectant. God is working even when you cannot see it. Beloved, the principle is simple but profound. God delays, but he never denies. Every delay is purposeful. Every waiting period is part of a divine process. Every trial, challenge, and test is a stepping stone toward your ultimate blessing. Your faith is being strengthened, your character is being refined, and your destiny is being prepared. Keep trusting, keep praying, keep believing, and keep hoping. God's timing is perfect, and his promises are sure. Do not be discouraged by delays, for they are not denials. Do not be disheartened by obstacles, for they are not denials. Do not be frustrated by closed doors, for they are not denials. Everything is working together under God's sovereign plan, and when the time is right, your breakthrough will come. Your miracle will arrive. Your blessing will manifest. Your prayer will be answered. God delays, but he never denies, and he is faithful to fulfill every promise he has made to you. So, beloved, as we stand in the midst of waiting, let us remember this truth: God's delays are never denials. Every moment of waiting is a moment of preparation, a moment to deepen our faith, to strengthen our character, and to draw nearer to him. Do not measure God's faithfulness by the clock or by the circumstances around you. Measure it by his promises, by his word, and by his unwavering love. Trust him when the road seems long. Hope in him when the answers seem far away, and remain steadfast when your heart feels heavy. God sees the end from the beginning. He knows the perfect time for your breakthrough, the perfect moment for your miracle, and the exact season for your blessing. Keep praying, keep believing, and keep moving forward in obedience and faith. When the time comes, your joy will be complete, your blessing will be abundant, and your life will testify to God's faithfulness. Remember, what may feel like a delay today is setting the stage for the greatest chapter of your life tomorrow. God delays, but he never denies, and his promises for you are eternal, sure, and unstoppable. Keep trusting him and watch him move wonders on your behalf.